In order for clients to get started with us, they first have to navigate to the nav bar and click on the request a quote option here, and they provide their cell phone number after that. So I'm just going to provide in my cell phone number. Then just waiting for an OTP to be sent to my mobile number, so it's just sent right now. So I'm quickly going to enter the OTP. Then from there, potential clients start by entering their first names, provide a last name, they provide their email address as well, and also provide their identity number. So I'm just going to put in random 13 characters in this case, and also provide us with the same phone number that you just provided right now. Then from there on, they proceed to selecting the current insurer of their vehicle. So for example, in this case, I'll choose in price, and let's say, for example, they pay or they're able to pay, let's say, an excess amount of 4,800. And from there, they select their cars. For example, let's say they drive a BMW, a sedan, a 3 Series, and let's say they drive an E92, for example. Then their vehicle color, let me just say it's black. Dealership, let's just say they bought it at We Buy Cars as an example. And their registration number, for example, let's say it's ABC123GP. Then when you click on the request a quote button, a quote document will be generated for you. So it will show all your personal details that you've provided, your insurance details and your vehicle details, and your monthly premium that you'll be liable to pay should you accept the quote. So the way that the amount is calculated is that it takes your current excess amount, divides it by 36 months, then adds VAT on top of that, then adds a service fee of 69 rand. So that's how you're able to get to this amount of 222.33 cents. Then if a client is satisfied with their quote, they can click on the accept button, and if they're not, they can just click on the reject quote button. So when they click on the accept quote button, they'll have to provide their phone number again, and an OTP will be sent out. This is to verify that a client or a potential client has indeed requested for a quote. So it will pull all the information that they just provided us with. So for example, all the information that they provided when they requested a quote, like their name, surname, email, will be pre-populated for them right here. And we're just going to enter like a dummy address, their gender. You can select their gender, enter their password, and confirm their password again. And after that, you click on the register button. So in order to proceed with the registration, a client will provide us with their phone number again and wait for an OTP to be sent out. So they'll provide the OTP that they'll receive on their mobile phones, and they can proceed with the registration. So all the details that they provided when requesting a quote will be pre-populated for them, and they won't be editable. And after that, they just provide their address, select their gender, and enter their password, and confirm their password below here. So after that, they proceed with the registration process. So once they click the register button, they'll be registered as a new client. So on the admin side, an agent can come to the quotation request tab and view all the quotation requests they've received. So for example, here we received like a quotation request, for example, maybe test SS, and an agent can call them in order to begin the process of generating a policy with them. So since they've accepted their quote, you just click on the create policy button. So the agent, while he is or she's on the phone with this particular client, they'll just confirm a few details on the phone, like, okay, your name is, for example, test is, your email address is this, your ID number is this, and you live in this address, for example. And you click on the next button, it also pulls up the information that they provided when they were asking for a quotation request. So it will just show their excess amount, their current insurer, their direct, the vehicle that they're driving. And after that, when you click on the next button, that's when you can the agent and with for example test S on the phone, they just confirm the inception date of the policy and the payment of the premium, which will be like the frequency at which the client wants to pay for their policy. So in most cases, it will be like a monthly debit order. Collection date, for example, let's say the 24th of every month. Then cover description is just basically the description of, you can look at it as like a reference number. It'll be on the statement, that they'll be like on the statement to show that they've been billed this amount every month. And the agent now elicits the card number from the client. So we're just using a default card number from Stripe, which is the payment gateway that we've integrated into our system to bill clients monthly. So for example, let's say the card let's say test SS card expires on the second month in 2022. Then you click on the generate policy button. So after that, test SS policy will be generated, and a few things will be happening in the background, like the details will be sent to our payment gateway, which is Stripe, and all the other things. So we can just take a quick look at the policy. So the policy was successfully generated and will be downloaded to our local machine here. So this just explains that we just welcoming them to covered. It explains how their policy will work, how they'll be billed monthly, like for the 36-month period, how they'll accumulate their savings, and here it just displays their summary. So their policy summary just displays their name, email address, contact details, identity number, and address. It also shows their policy number, so the inception date, which is today, their collection date, and the policy number, their unique policy number. And it also shows that they're covered for 4,800 and dial direct. So their monthly savings in this case will be 153.33 cents, for example, but the total monthly premium they'll be paying, or their monthly payment will be 222.33. It is inclusive of the service fee which we charge our clients, and just their vehicle information right over here. So this is just basically the steps of how we create a policy for our clients. And after creating a policy, for example, Mazimba or Test SS, we can just quickly go to the policy tab to view all the policies that we currently have in our system. So for example, if you proceed to the next page, we'll see that we created a policy for Test S KV the 0107 on the 12th of November, which is today. And also we can view their policy summary here. We can deactivate the policy should they want to cancel their policy with us. So what happens that when we deactivate the policy, the client's profile will also be deactivated, so they'll no longer be able to log in and stuff like that. But if they had any savings in their account, it will also be paid out to their personal accounts and stuff like that. So that when we deactivate the policy, all of their money that they've saved up will be paid out to them, so that we don't keep hold of their money. And if they had any outstanding loans that they had to like repay, for example, that matter will be dealt aside outside of the system. And you can also view like the payment history of the clients. So we can keep track of who didn't pay for which month and who paid. So for example, here we have Freaky here, Belbach over here. So if we click on her payment history, for example, it will show that okay, on like the 11th, which was yesterday, they paid 195, which is their monthly premium. They paid 195 same day. The dates here are just that since this was for test purposes, we can trigger payments on our payment gateway, so that they can kind of simulate how an actual debit order will work, as they'll be billed monthly. And it can also show that there was a bounced payment. So if I go here, for example, this is Freaky. So if I trigger a payment on our payment gateway here of Stripe, for example, let's say its premium is 195. So this card over here, the 42421, is to stimulate successful payments. So let's say they're paying for covered insurance, the covered monthly billing, and I trigger that payment now. Sorry, let me just enter the cursor here. Okay, let me just trigger it again real quick. using the card that ultimately successful payments. So cover monthly billing, create the payment. Okay, so we have triggered a payment on today's date, the 12th at 9:05 a.m. So when we go back to the admin side of things, for example, a payment was triggered today, so this will just refresh and pull the incoming payments or the payments from the client. So here's a payment that we triggered today on the 12th of 195, and in order to demonstrate that again, we can try triggering another payment. Let's just choose ZAR of, let's say, maybe 200, but in the real world, it won't work like this because they'll be paying out a monthly fixed amount. This is just for test purposes. So we trigger a payment of 200, and when we retrieve their balances on our system, it'll show that a payment of 200 also successful on this day over here. And let's say maybe it's that time of the month where they have to pay their normal monthly premium of 195, but for example, let's say they don't have sufficient funds in the account. So for example, let's say we use this card, the ending in 0341. This is just to simulate what would happen if a client maybe when the great way of Stripe tries to bill them and they don't have enough money saved up in their account, or they don't have enough funds in their personal maybe savings or check accounts. So we try to create a payment. So this payment here will bounce because, for example, the client doesn't have enough funds in their or in the respective bank accounts. So just refresh this page here. It will show that a payment of 295 failed. So when we go to our system and just refresh, let's say we're checking Freaky's payment history, it will show here that there was a payment bounced, there was a failed payment. It won't show the amount, but it will just show that, okay, on this date it tried to bill them, but the payment failed. So this is just another this is just a part of the system where it shows, okay, our created policies, how we deactivate them. And another thing, it also shows we can also view like the payment history to keep track of who's been paying consistently or not. Obviously, the dates here will obviously show like they'll be grouped properly monthly, but in order for test purposes to show or to test how the debit order event will work in real life, that's just the whole process of it. So thank you. Once everything has been completed and the client has their policy generated for them, once they log in, they'll be able to view their policy summary on their dashboard, which will just show them, for example, their personal detail summary, their vehicle summary as well, and also their current savings summary. So it just shows the inception date of the policy and the savings balance. So this is for a client that we already created prior to our presentations and stuff. So currently this guy has a 1,152 saved up, and they can also click on the download button to get a copy of their policy. Once inside the system, a client can submit their claim. For example, they select their policy number and they can upload, just choose this PDF here. So let's say this will be maybe an example of a claim letter that they got from their respective insurer when they want to claim the money that they've saved up. So you just click on upload, and the upload will be successful and sent to the admin side, so it can be processed and that the money can be paid out to the client. Clients can also track their claims, and if they don't understand how to track their claims, they can just click here and watch a short clip of us explaining how they can track their claims. And should a client be short of money, or maybe they haven't saved up enough to pay their excess, we can grant them loans. So the loans are grouped according to excess tiers, as we call them, according to our business. So what we'll do is that since this client has 1,152 saved up, they can request a loan of up to 3,000 rand. So they just have to select their policy number as well, provide the requested amount. So for example, they only have, let's say they have 1,152 in their savings account, and maybe the excess they have to pay up is, for example, let's say they have to pay up 4,000, right? So as they have to pay up, so when you come to the loan tab over here, you can apply for a shortfall loan. So a shortfall loan is a loan that our business can provide to you should you have not enough saved up. So, for example, this guy's excess here is 4,000 rand, but according to the current balance, only have 1,152 saved up. So, once we pay it out, they'll still be short of 2,848 in order to pay up the full exit. So what will happen here is that a client will be able to request the money that they'll be short with. So for example, 2484, and agree to our terms and conditions. And after that, click on the submit button. Once that is done, a loan request will be sent to admin side, and admin will take it from there in order to restructure their premium so that when they get billed monthly, the other money can continue contributing to their savings, and the other amount will be towards the loan repayment. Once we go to the savings tab, so what happens on the savings tab is that a client can anytime withdraw the amount of money they've saved up, either for personal use or for whatever reason they would want to withdraw it. So what will happen is that they'll select their policy number again and enter the amount they want to withdraw. So for example, let's say maybe I just want to withdraw 400 from what I've saved up. So I've saved up 1,152 and I just want to withdraw 4,000. Then they can just click on the submit button and a request will be sent out to the admin side. So the admin side will then process that request and pay out the client the amount that they've requested to withdraw. And what clients can also do inside their at the part of the system is that they can view their profile. For example, let's say in case they want to update it and other things. And the summary report, I believe, was discussed in the reporting section of this video. So thank you. This was basically the client. In the event of claims, so what would happen that the admin or the agent or the claim assessor, will navigate to the claims tab over here. So it will retrieve all of the submitted claims that were submitted by the different clients. So for example, we had a payment here from, or we had a claim from, let's say, Freaky O2 over here, and it's still pending approval as the claim status here. So what will happen is that an agent, for example, a claim assessor will download this document and open it, and then in their case, they will see a real claim document from the client's respective insurer. Then after that, they just view the document and view the amount that needs to be paid out. So after that, we can just view the quote summary. Then we choose whether to accept or reject the claim. So let's say we accept this claim, for example, over here. Then once the claim has been successfully accepted, an email is sent out to the client telling them that, okay, their quote has been accepted, so we will be in contact with them, or they should expect payment into their respective accounts in maybe 48 to 72 hours. Then after we accept, let me just refresh this page. So Freaky's claim status is now changed to approved, then we can proceed to paying them out. So what will happen is that we can see that Freaky has 1152 saved up in their account. So we're just gonna pay them the whole balance. So we're just gonna say 1152, just pay them all they have for their claim payout. So we just click on the pay. So the payout was successful to the client. And when we go back to, let me go back into localhost and try to log in as Freaky there. So Freaky's username is gmail.com 123456. Freaky's balance will now be reduced to 0 as we've paid up we've paid them all the savings that they currently had in order for them to be able to pay for their exit. And maybe Freaky can come maybe to their summary report, for example, and choose the payments that happened between the 11th and today, and it will show over here that their payment was successfully.
Now I'll be showing you how we register the different employees in the system. And so our system currently has 3 main employees or employee types: an administrator, a claim assessor, and an agent. So an administrator is the only employee who has access and is allowed to add different kinds of employee types, or different or other employees rather. So he's able to add a claim assessor. And so what he does here is he goes to the claim assessor on the side nav, add claim assessor here, and then provides the claim assessor's details. So let's say the claim assessor's name is Pete Pompies, email address is pompies@gmail.com. I believe this is a .com, and then we add any ID number that we would like. It can be as random as you want it to be, and then a cell phone number. Now this is so that we have his basic information, and then we provide an address. Let's just go with Hatfield. Select the gender, and then you provide the password for Mr. Pompies, and then we register him. And then as you can see on the top right corner, you can see that registration is unsuccessful, and I believe it is unsuccessful right now because of the email address. And so maybe let's rather call him Sib. Now that was successful. The reason it was initially unsuccessful is because we already have a pompies@gmail.com in the database. And so right now we'll just log out as Mudiba Putejo, who is our current administrator, and then log back in as sibu@gmail.com with the password that we had given him. Log in. And so as you can see that this is the claim assessor's dashboard. And so claim assessor's dashboard shows him what he needs to do for the day. And so as he logs in, he's able to see that, okay, he has four claims that are pending approval, one that was approved, and 0 that have not been approved for whatever reason that might be. And so right now we'll be logging out as Sibu and logging back in as Mudiba Putejo. This is so that we can then create the agent, which is the other user. And so now we're going to be creating an agent. At the moment, this list here shows you the current agents that we have in the system. So this agent is going to be called James bond@gmail.com. ID number, let's make the person very young, 0115 yada 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 7235 and so forth. Address Groenkloof. And then the password we give him as well, and then we register him. Top right corner, as you can see, registration is successful. And so now we'll log out from Putejo Mudiba's profile and log in as bond@gmail.com. And then this is the agent's landing page. And so here the agent is able to see how many quotation requests have been pending and how many have been accepted so far. So his job basically is to ensure that all the pending quotations that have been submitted are accepted or rejected, but basically they are sorted out so that we don't have any pending. And so now we'll be going through the different reports that are in our system. And so the first report we'll be going through is the policy report. And so this policy report just gives us an overview of how many policies were generated within whatever particular data range that we want. This is so that, for example, the owners of the system are able to just go through this and see how many policies they've generated in whatever period that they want. It can be over a period of 6 months, 3 months, or even the past 3 days. Then they generate, and then they get to see the actual inception date, which is the date that the policy was generated, the number of policies that were generated, and the different policy numbers. Now the second report we'll be going through is the claims report. Now this claims report is very similar to the claim assessor's report or claim assessor's landing page. So this report gives the administrator an overview as to how many claims still need to be approved. This is so that the administrator is able to monitor and keep track of how the claim assessors are performing and ensuring that there are no claims that are pending approval. The third report we'll be going through is the quotation status report. Now this one is very similar to the report, the landing page of the agent. And so here the administrator is able, just like with the claims report, is able to keep track of the agents here by looking at the quotation requests that are still pending and so forth, so that they are then accepted or rejected. But the idea is so that the administrator is able to ensure that there are no pending quotes. The fourth report here is the gender report. And so this one just gives us an overview of the different genders of the clients in our system. And so as you can see here, we currently have 3 males, currently have 3 females, and 0 of the other gender. This is so that the owners of the system, or the administrator, is better able to plan different kinds of specials or promotions, looking at the gender ratio that they currently have in their system, and they know what kind of target market to look at when making whatever specials and deals and so forth, so that they know what their target group is. And then now we're going to the payments received report. And so this report gives them an overview of how much money they have received from the different clients over the period of different years. So currently we're going into the year 2020, which is the current year that we're in. And with the data that we have received so far, in the month of January, they didn't receive anything, and between January and September. And then money started rolling in now in October when they made 40,240, and then the month of November when they made 2,160. This information is also displayed in the graph above. And so here we're then able to see the graphical view of the amount of money that we received over the period of the year. And so as you can see at the top here, we have that 40,240 that was displayed in the table below for the month of October. And then we also have the 2,160 that is in the table below for the month of November. And then now we're going to the management report. And so the management report gives us an overview of the general performance for the current year. And so in the current year, we have a total of 5 claims that have been submitted. Number of policies that are generated is a total of 17, 2 that were generated in October, and 15 that were generated in November. And then we have a total of 10 quotes that are in the system at the moment. And then now we're going through the payouts report. And so this payouts report is similar to the payments received report, and gives us an overview of how much money we've paid out to our different clients for different reasons, whether it was claims that they withdrew or claims that they submitted or their savings. And so here we're able to see that in the month of October, total payouts amounted to 2,250, and in the month of November amounted to 2,270.83. This is also properly displayed in the table below, just like the payouts table or the payments received table. And then now we'll be going through the client's report. And so right now we'll be going through the client's transactional reports. And so this report is a personal report for each client, so that they are able to see their payments that have been flowing in and out of the savings account that they have with us. And so the client would go to the summary report and then pick to view payments from whatever date range that they would like to see. And so our client here is picking between August and today, the 11th of November. And then they generate the table. And so here, as you can see, you are seeing the policy number and the date for each payment that was made. And so here, because this is still test data, you're able to see that there's the amount of 40,000 that really is outside of the range of the other payments. And then this is because we're still testing it out. And so as you can see, when the 40,000 went into their balance, went into the account balance increased. And so these are small payouts that we're working on, and the payouts are decreasing the balance accordingly as well. And then the client is able to generate a PDF, and then is then able to view the PDF that looks exactly like the table here. And so right now we've just downloaded the PDF, and then as you can see, the PDF looks exactly like the table with the current balance being displayed. Thank you.
So should a user want to add a vehicle, they simply click on the vehicles on the navigation bar. They can add a vehicle make, a vehicle type, a vehicle model, a vehicle color, or a vehicle series. So for demonstration purposes, we are going to add a vehicle make. So the user goes to the vehicle make page and they simply click on the add vehicle make button. We are going to call this vehicle make Blue Star and select the vehicle type coupe, and we are going to add it. So Blue Star can be viewed here. We can also update View Star and select a hatch and a coupe and click on the update button. So we cannot delete this vehicle make as it is now linked to a vehicle type. We can also go to vehicle type and add a vehicle type. I'm going to call it Baki 549. It's added to the system and it can be viewed here. We can also add a vehicle model. Simply click on the add vehicle model button. Select BMW, select sedan, and then for the vehicle model we are going to call it Star Blue, and then click on the add button. So the new added model can be viewed. Simply just, you can also search for it, so we say Star Blue, and that's the vehicle make, vehicle type, vehicle model displayed. We can also add a vehicle color, so you just simply click on add color. We're going to name this color blues. You add it, and blues can be viewed here, right here at the bottom. So the same goes for vehicle series. You can also add a vehicle series. You click on the make, we're going to select BMW this time. The type, we're going to select sedan. The model, we're going to select F series, and we're going to call it E5430. We're going to add it, and we can also search for E5430, and here it can be viewed. So one can also add a dealership. We're going to add a dealership auto renew. This addition can be seen right here at the bottom, and all of these adds and updates can be viewed in the audit trail right at the bottom as a create for blues, the vehicle, which was the vehicle color, the addition in the vehicle series table, and the dealership auto renew, which was added in the dealership table. So should a user need help on a certain page, they can simply click on go to help. This will redirect them to a page whereby they can get help on what the page is about and which functionalities they can select for whatever it is that they need to do. If the user scrolls right to the bottom of the navigation bar, they can also open a help document. This views all the help for the entire system as a whole, and they can navigate to the certain page without having to go to that page to view help on that specific function. As you can see, vehicle type has been opened, and they can just simply go back to the system